Hi everybody, this is Christy from the Be the Light YouTube channel. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I always send you love. I am going to be talking about a combination of things in this video. It's mostly about the third eye and the fourth eye, but it's about spirituality in general. I have been very honest about my belief or my resistance in religion, my resistance in getting to know Jesus and God. I have believed in Jesus and God my entire life. I have been a witness to Christ in my life, His presence. I have seen Him on several occasions during very difficult times where I was being saved, or He was showing me His love for me at that time. But one, being so young, I misunderstood it. I thought I was being taken from earth, and or I thought that I was bad as a result of things that took place in my life as a young child, and all of that stuff just kept, building a resistance with truly trying to find that deeper connection or deeper meaning of what He was. It wasn't until it's been a year and 8 months now of my awakening process that I began to really open up to God with my faith and Jesus, of course. When I say God, I include both of those in my meaning. Here's something that I also want to express, that if you are not someone, or if you are someone who doesn't believe in God and Jesus, but you are definitely into spirituality, here is something I want you to understand, that you haven't fully opened up to light and love if you don't believe in God and Christ. Light and love is not limited. It doesn't limit who you love. It doesn't limit what you know. It doesn't limit anything. It always expands. The truth is the truth of all things. The truth is that God exists and Christ existed and still does exist. You have to be open to be fully enwrapped, surrounded in a light being. You have to be open to all ideas, all things. God and Jesus will direct you. Now, the only difference that's going to take place in your spiritual growth and mine is who your ascended master is, who your oversoul is, who is actually helping you on your spiritual growth journey. Mine is God and Jesus, Mary, along with other beings of light. I haven't limited any of my understandings, who assists me in my life. I am very open, but it has taken lots of work for me to get to this point of being open. It means we have to let go of ideas and definitely fears. Yours can be Buddha. It could be, I don't know all of the people who have the beings, the light beings who are there, ascended masters. There are so many. There are angels, of course. There are other beings of light from different dimensions and different star systems that are here guiding us all. Don't set any limits around who is going to assist you. All of the ones who are assisting on everybody's path is a part of one thing: light and love. So your guidance system will be different than my guidance system. That's the only difference, except if I were to say, no, yours is wrong, then I am not open. I am not a true being of light. I am not a true person of love. That's something I want you to understand. And it's okay if you haven't gotten there yet. That is also a part of this path of knowing your own closed-mindedness, knowing that you are still in that human concept of limitations. That's a part of the path. Knowing it, seeing it, understanding it, and then releasing that. You just haven't gotten there yet, and in time, you will. Every time you hear something that is triggering something within you that says, no, I know it all, or no, that isn't right, or whatever, that creates a fear or anger inside of you, gets a reaction, that's something that's trying to trigger you into thinking different, into feeling differently. Okay, so I have said that. The Bible is also true. There are a lot of truth in the Bible, and there's a lot that's been taken out of the Bible. That's something that God has told me about. Of course, there's a lot of scientists who are proving the fact that the Bible is missing a lot of its truth in it, the truth that we all are supposed to have, that's supposed to help us be our light self. So there are, I'm receiving. I am integrating today, yesterday and today. Early on in my awakening, again, I was guided to an idea. It really, really hit me, and I really said, this is it. This is what Christ was all about. This is what the Bible was all about, and teaching us something. Yet the world doesn't know. Yet I knew that it was right. And of course, my old self didn't know how to get there, but my new self knew this is what I was going to, what was going to take place in my life. The Christ awakens within you. Other religions call it the Kundalini, or the life force energy. It actually awakens within you. It's a fire that is ignited within you that sets your soul afloat. It is a process of, again, releasing to allow your light being to finally come in. So I'm fast forwarding here a bunch because I wanted to talk about the third and the fourth eye. And this, I thought about this prior to going to bed because I am at the 9th level of light body activation, where I have integrated my threefold flame, or I have began the steps of that and integrated parts of it. And I have explained this before, that when you might be in a level, for instance, I'm in the 9th level, I am integrating the 8th level. I am using all of the teachings, understandings of the 8th level of my light body activation, and it is being embedded within me now in the 9th level. I am learning about the 9th level activations and everything that's involved with it, and integrating pieces of this 9th level light body activation, along with tapping into a little bit of the 10th level. There's a lot going on when we are growing. We have a lot going on. That's why it always feels like there's a high and a low, or really good for a while, and then really, really bad for a while, because we have a lot of lessons of letting go, of integration being taken place. So in the 8th level of the light body activation, I spoke about the Ark of the Covenant, which is inside of you, which of course is mentioned in the Bible. That is the bridge between the pineal gland, pituitary gland, which creates the fourth eye. Now I want to explain to you about the third eye, because this is very important. This is where a lot of people have their third eye open, decalcified, and they are using it. And just like myself, I know I have been tapping into a little bit of my fourth eye. I know I have been receiving from higher dimensions. And you are too, more than likely. But then there comes a time where it's inconsistent. You receive pieces of your message, and then you receive something that doesn't belong. You receive pieces of a message, and then here comes something that doesn't belong. And you're like, okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. There's inconsistency in the message that's coming forth. And I want you to understand it like this. If you are trying to listen to a radio station, but it's in between 98.1 and 98.3, it keeps fluctuating back and forth between that dial because it's just not clear. You're going to pick up on two different radio stations. That's what it means. To have a third eye that is open means that you are accessing consciousness that exists here in this reality that we can all attain and have access to. But it also means that there are lower vibrational information that is residing throughout here. And that's why, especially early on in my awakening process, because I was still really fear-based, you pick up on things that might frighten you, because everything exists here, no matter what it is, good or bad, dark or light, it is here. There are things that exist that only our imagination, which is why we should always imagine things. Our imagination keeps us really living where we are supposed to be living at. The imagination is our limit. If we set limits on our own imagination, then we'll never actually understand what exists, and everything does exist. So if you have been wondering ever since your third eye has been opening, why the information you get is sporadic or isn't consistent with a part of the message, or sometimes you get a message and then sometimes there's just nothing, it is because that connection to the fourth eye isn't bridged. The fourth eye is a part of the higher dimensions, higher activations, that if you haven't completed the steps, it won't be open. But also, a lot of the people who are on their spiritual growth prior to a certain time frame didn't even have this type of access. And I can't remember, and I don't know, all about it, when that timeline had shifted, because we all haven't been able to reach the 5D reality forever. It's only, I can say, 20 years now that's been implemented. The fifth dimension is recent, unlike the fourth dimension, and which means that you're accessing higher chakra systems, which of course means you're accessing higher dimensions. There's been a cutoff point to what human consciousness can actually have access to. And now we have the capability of opening and activating our fourth eye. I'm not saying that, there haven't been few individuals in the past who have probably had this opened up. It's just, the collective, not the majority of individuals. hasn't had this type of opening and activation. And so when you actually have this fourth eye activation opened, all of your clairs, all of your senses are more in tuned, more connected, and it's connected to the higher realms, and also is, of course, connected to your heart. Your heart is going to begin to bloom even more so, which is a part of the threefold flamed heart. Threefold flame heart activation. That's why the 9th level of your light body activation is important too. Well, they're all important, but because it's opening up that heart. And that's why you can't really integrate your 8th level activation until you've began to open up your threefold flame heart. The process of everything links to the previous level. And if you are refraining from learning your lessons in a current level, you can't really embody and activate fully and integrate everything in your previous levels until where you currently are is being implemented. So I hope this video helps, and I am completing the Ark of the Covenant, the fourth eye. Currently, it began yesterday. It was really, really sweet. I woke up yesterday morning to the most beautiful feminine voice calling rainbow, rainbow, which woke me up yesterday morning, and that wasn't the first thing that I received, but it was the continuance of a vision that I had prior to going to bed. And so that's where I am, and there's a lot of symptoms with this, of purging things out. You know, mucus is coming out, sneezing, some tension in the head, liquid sensation going down the neck and spine, and bliss. I feel bliss from time to time throughout this process, which is really, really nice. So I do your research, of course, but I give you information as I see it, and as I am being given them or integrating them. Just remember that wherever you currently are in your activations, in your level of understanding, that you really are learning and integrating, or at least learning with three levels total. Three comes to play in a lot of things: the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the mind, body, and the spirit connection. So don't get wrapped up in just being, here I am, I'm at this level, and I'll be accessing a higher level soon. But really, you're at a level, but you're really at a lower level, yet you're accessing a higher level too. And don't get so wrapped up in knowing that you are at a certain level only, because there's so much information that you are actually accessing, you're trying to understand, you're trying to learn about, and you're always integrating from previous levels. And so I hope this video helps out a little bit about your fourth eye and third eye connection there, that once your fourth eye, of course, is fully open and activated, there's a sense of clarity. Everything is more enhanced. And I think the bugs, and that's what I guess I should have used, the bugs are weeded out, there won't be a buzz in that radio station or flipping back and forth to the radio stations because you can't get the right frequency set in for your understanding. And I think this is when, because it's been in my mind that, I keep saying to God, I want to have that type of understanding where I don't really have to close my eyes to understand. And this is, I think, how it's done. Because, my mother has the gift of, she's really strong with her senses because she's had a child-born gift, but she has allowed it to go dormant throughout her life until my awakening process. Now she is reopening to it. She has the capability of just walking around and seeing things in her everyday life. She is able to see things as she's breathing and awake and not meditating or creating stillness. And that's something I learned after, I was, seeing things throughout my stillness and connection with God. But I knew early on that was a great interest to me. That I wanted to be of great service to other people when I was fully awake, because that's when you can really help others. If you come in contact with people and something is coming to you, information is coming to you that needs to be given, that's when you can do the most good. And so that's what I believe this activation will also enhance and give the capability of. There's a whole lot to this. Everything is a true blessing. Everything is a beautiful gift that is here to help everyone serve their greatest purpose for themselves and help others in their journey. And that should be the focal point of it. And the more that you learn your lessons that you're supposed to with every single stage of where you are, remember, it is the letting go, the not setting limits, always surrendering to Spirit. When I say surrendering to Spirit, of course I do mean to Christ, because He is the light of the world. But He is also you. Surrendering to your spirit. Our spirits are connected to Spirit. And hopefully you're at that level of knowing that you are always connected. And that's when you really truly know that and understand that. That's when you become a creator. You become someone who is truly powerful. And that's in higher levels of activation anyway. It's coming. That is part of the lesson in knowing that you are one with all creation. Because we are all energetic beings connected to the energetic source of all. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.